Hey everybody, welcome back to Stack Snacks. I'm John Siwicki, and we're going to take a look at Notion AI's latest update in their 3.0 release. So, we don't talk a lot about productivity apps on the channel, but I think today this one feels a little bit different. I think it's worth us taking a look at and giving our kind of overview. So, for those that don't know, Notion's very much like a documents, databases, productivity suite of different apps and kind of pages that you can create and share, and set up with a team. And it's been around for a long time, and they've, they're kind of some of the earlier people to kind of adapt AI. But I have to admit, this new release has made me fall in love again with Notion, as I've had a love-hate relationship with Notion over the years. But this one is very, very interesting. So I am using I'm going to pay an account. I was able to get a free trial. I just want to disclose that. So I am on a free tier at the moment. I always say free trial tier. But let's get into it. So Notion has had these kind of like different ways to kind of connect and connect to different apps inside of your Notion for a little while, but they've expanded on it lately, and they've kind of keep increasing that. And they've also now included their mail product, which is basically a client for Gmail. But you can also now, inside of their AI, do a web search. You can also make it ask you that you're going to do that, and we can also now personalize the AI. So if we get into the personalized section, you can give it kind of these fun little emojis you can put on the Notion AI's head. I called mine Hank. And what you can do is, this was a set of instructions that I downloaded from the Notion Marketplace. You can also, there's a few different sets of instructions that come with this by default, or you can kind of create your own. And basically the instructions are kind of like a really intense version of ChatGPT that has custom instructions. You can kind of tailor the AI to respond to you in certain ways, reference certain things. And I think you can see this is one from somebody in the community. And I apologize. I want to give you some credit. Simon, good stuff. Sorry, I want to make sure I give you credit. Bettercreating.com. Some of Simon's Notion templates. This was cool. I just liked how robust it was. I was trying to get some inspiration for setting mine up. And you can kind of see this particular one: operating principles, chat interactions, tone of voice and style. You can get pretty intense with this. And then let's do a minimalist one. So this one's pretty simple. Agent identity, chat interactions, some memories. Automatically capture preferences as bulleted points below, so over time I can kind of remember what we talked about. So we're going to use an existing page, and we're going to go back to our one from our buddy Simon. But this is where you kind of would set everything up in here. And so what you can kind of do now, let's go over to the AI section first. So again, another access to the personalization up here. Another way to get to those apps that you can connect. But you can now reference any of your pages in here, which is great. One thing that's pretty cool is you can actually, pick a certain model that you want to use. So this is really interesting because a lot of the times I might want Claude for some of my writing, but then I want ChatGPT for some of my analyst work or code, or something super fast like Gemini 2.5 Pro. So being able to kind of switch with these is kind of interesting, and kind of this all-in-one situation. And here too, you can kind of toggle what you want to connect and how you want your search to do. And think of this research very much like some of the deep research projects that we've talked about in the past, and for those that don't know, just these tasks that will take a long time and run in the background for you, right? They've kind of even more integrated AI into their workspace. So let's open up a new page. And I think this is part of where it all kind of shines. So I'm going to get open Hank, and right, it kind of takes my sidebar, which is nice. I can kind of make it a little small here. And it knows that I am in a new page, and I can kind of pick, okay, let's work with Claude. I want you to look at all sources. I want you to use this new page as context. And so what I can do now is I can just kind of start interacting with this page over here. So I want you to make a new database of YouTube video ideas, and I want to be able to tag them and mark some of them as bad, and they get their own view. And I want to be able to set a reminder to look at the idea. Okay, so I'm trying to kind of see if it can kind of create this kind of thing for me, and it's going to take a second here. It's kind of thinking about how to structure the database. Now it's going to start building, and you can see right here now on my screen. Let's hide that. Let's get a better view. So, right, rejected ideas, review by. So let's see, we got automatically gets to be a reminder, so that's cool. We'll call it archive, published, tag. What can I do as tags? What do I want to do? Oh, status. Bad. And test. So you can kind of see, right? And then now notes. So now let's kind of tweak this a little bit. Can I have an AI field that summarizes all the fields? And can, oh, let's just try that. So right now, you can see in its little sidebar, it's thinking, it's doing its thing. It's going to hopefully add us a new field. Okay, we got a oops. Oh, okay. Okay, so we hit our roadblock. So let's add a URL for published links. But you can see, right, like you could kind of, in natural language, kind of craft your page and like get your database going. And you could really scaffold these things really quick and really just interact with them in a really nice way. You know, test.com. All right, that's fine. Copy to clipboard, really cool. Let's see what we got. And then, can you come up with a new template for when I add a new item? So, right, you can kind of start to build these structures. I don't have to create a page templates directly. Okay, I hit two things that I can't. But most of the fields you can kind of interact with, right? And you can kind of start to see, right, it built a couple of views for us as well. So we can kind of archived. So we can kind of keep kind of iterating and setting those up. All right, let's see. Okay, so here's kind of just this blog post I've been working on. It's not quite done. Just trying to like, I don't know, put some thoughts together, right? So let's kind of bring this So we're going to add that as context. Actually, let's do a new chat. Let's do that. We're just going to switch to auto because I don't really care which model we use. And so, can you review my blog post and clean up the writing for grammar and spelling? So, really simple request, but really nice when you're working through a blog. Oh wait, just make sure. Okay, so let's see, it's going through and it's looked like it updated one of my paragraphs, which is cool. Okay, so now it's actually actually went through all the blog posts in the database. Which is fine, it's just fine. Okay, it's giving me some. Wow, okay, cool. All right, and then some of the basic, AI functionality that you would ask, you would think, summarize, right, translate, but kind of like some of the real power in this, and I won't show this because it might reveal too much of my notes, is kind of the ways it can kind of go across your document to kind of, and kind of look and you can do certain things like, hey, go look through my meeting notes and tell me what are my action items for the week. Look through my task database and tell me what's overdue. Those type of things are starting to like get to that point of like that kind of like real feels like a real assistant and real helper, and kind of the things that we've talked about in the past on this channel of like some of the missed opportunities from like a Google kind of like rolling these things up into its productivity suites and being able to kind of tie in a lot of your data together. And I think one thing that's going to be really interesting too is like, right, Notion has calendar and mail, so can they kind of incorporate that as well into this experience? And so you can kind of have access to this layer where you can kind of do these kind of queries and with your own personal context as well. So I have definitely, like I said, gone away from Notion in the past for various different reasons, but I would say this update's got me back in. I really love the integration. I really love the kind of that ability to interact with your stuff in a different way. I'm always I take a lot of notes, but there's not a lot of organization to them. So a tool like this actually is really, really helpful for me. But I'm super excited because there's also going to be a release where they're going to apparently have like these kind of different kind of agents to help you with some different work. I don't know how that's going to look like. I'm assuming it's maybe going to be you can kind of switch custom instructions potentially and have like a really good database builder or a really good copy editor. That could be really cool. But I will have to say, just a really, really impressive update, and I've been super, super excited to use it. It's really been quite helpful. So I'm starting to finally see that we had made a couple of videos way in the back of trying to find that like perfect AI note taker, and this feels like it's starting to get there. I'm not going to get too excited yet, but it's starting to get there. So love to know what people think. Are people using this? Is there any kind of cool hacks out there? So if you guys are using this, please let us know. I'd love to know how to kind of slice and dice this thing. So thank you very much for stopping by, everybody. Thanks for checking out Notion with us, and we'll see you next time.